When considering an acquisition, cybersecurity due diligence is critical. When you're considering buying a target, it's important that you understand what that target's cybersecurity maturity is at the time of acquisition. The best way to do this is say, give me your risk assessment. Show me the assessment you've conducted either on your own or had a third party conduct for you. A lot of organizations don't have this. It's unfortunate because everyone should. A cybersecurity risk assessment should be conducted for every business out there, but in many cases, it has not been done. By conducting one, they're already showing a level of maturity. Hopefully, they have not just shoved the results into a desk drawer and they've actually remediated the items that were identified during the assessment. If an assessment hasn't been conducted and you need to do a kind of a quick assessment, there are a few things that you should look for. The very first thing is, does this organization understand all of its data assets? Okay? That can be evidenced by a tool that scans its environment and picks up all the devices in the environment, also picking up all of the software that's installed in the environment, as well as any kind of data mapping or data flow diagrams that might exist. This is very important that an organization have full understanding of its environment. Without it, it's impossible to adequately secure. Also important is the involvement of third-party vendors. Many organizations depend upon third parties to support their business. They might be using them to support their technology itself. They may simply be using them to support another function, maybe a billing function or a payroll function or something like that. In that case, they are sharing data with those vendors. And when they share that data, are they doing it in a secure manner? And have they evaluated the security of that vendor? So we really look at their third-party risk management program, vendor security risk management program. Is one in place? How well organized is it? Do they have adequate criteria in there for selecting a vendor based on its cybersecurity posture? From there, you want to look at a few big key items that are part of a mature cybersecurity program. The very first one is access control, ensuring that only the individuals that should have access do have access, and having adequate authentication mechanisms in place, such as multi-factor authentication. This ensures that the individual who say they are who they are in fact that individual. A secondary factor is sent to a SMS text or an alternate email address to ensure that that individual is the correct individual to have access. After that is a vulnerability risk management program. Having a vulnerability risk management program means that you're constantly scanning your environment for any known vulnerabilities. This means that your devices might need to be patched, your software might need to be patched. Those patches are typically available from vendors such as Microsoft and Amazon and others out there. Patching those software and devices is critical to ensuring that you're kind of up to date on the threats that are out there. The third thing I always look for is cybersecurity awareness program. Are your people trained? Do they know what a suspicious email looks like? Do they know not to click a particular link? Do they know their obligations with respect to a regulatory guidance, a regulatory rule, HIPAA or the FFIEC or other regulations that affect that industry? A onboarding training as well as a annual recurring training and perhaps a phishing program. So a phishing program where individuals are sent emails in a safe place that indicate that they should click a link or supply their credentials. And anyone who fails that test would have to go through some kind of remedial training. Our people are our greatest asset, but they are also our greatest weakness with respect to cybersecurity. So a good cybersecurity training program in place is critical. The last thing is if all else fails. So you will inevitably have events and incidents in cybersecurity, right? Someone will be hacked. Someone will have a virus. What you do in that case is usually you follow your incident response plan. So has an incident response plan been drafted? Has it been tested? Hopefully it's been tested as part of a regular planned test and not on the battlefield in a real event. But one way or another, you want to ensure that that plan works as designed. Those are a couple of key things that you need to consider during an acquisition to understand whether an organization is vulnerable to compromise or maybe perhaps has already been compromised. The cost of compromise is ever increasing. The cost of ransomware is ever increasing. So you want to know what you're buying. And that's why it's very important to consider what is the cyber maturity of the organization in which I'm buying? What am I going to have to put in place immediately after acquisition? This is all very critical to the overall purchase price of the organization, or frankly, whether you buy them or not.